Well, hello there. It has been a while since I have been live um anywhere, although last week I have to say I did do an Instagram live. And why I feel so compelled to go live today, so compelled to have this conversation. So many of you will know I launched at the beginning of this year, opened at the beginning of this year, my club that's for women in leadership called the Compass Club. And yesterday we have women in leadership coming in. So we've had Lucy Rouse of Nike, we've had SJ from Saatchi and Saatchi. And yesterday we had the pleasure of Sophie Devonshire from the Marketing Society, distinct difference. And it was really great having her, as it has been every single one of our guests. But one thing she said that really hit me, I mean, there were a number of things. She dropped the nuggets. And those are, it's recorded, it's sitting in the club, and our members have the benefit of being able to watch it over and over again. But what hit me was when she said that there have been times in her life where, there's been an opportunity, and one particular woman said to her, you need to take the opportunity, because when you do, what happens is enabling other women to see what is possible, you're opening the doors, and you're setting standards and precedents about what is possible for women in the workplace. And I'm saying this today, and I want to talk about this today because I think it's so important. There are a lot of things that are happening that seem to be taking us back into the dark ages. And actually, patriarchy and misogyny need to be in the dark ages, back there on its own without us. And she mentioned an article about the women on the board of Aviva and at the AGM getting so much hassle from members and shareholders actually uh, directing misogynistic comments at these women, these board members, which is unacceptable on every single level. But it tells us something, that there is lots and lots of work still to be done for gender equality. And it's not just gender equality. As we know, if we think about the intersectionality of women, there is also equality for women of all races, creeds, colours, of all ethnicities. And also on top of that is whether they're abled, disabled, LGBTQ plus, so many other things. And the reason why I think it's so important to have these conversations is because, in all honesty, a lot of crap is happening. Yeah, you're going to get it straight today. A lot of crap's happening out there that really just should not be. And what I see in the work that I do, especially with women in leadership, is the way that it erodes confidence, the way that women are treated as less than, even though more often than not, they're doing a hell of a lot more. So I have a couple of things I'd like to raise. One is that it's so important for us as women to work together and to stop blocking each other. Like, we have enough blocks already in so many different ways from other men we're working with. I'm talking to women and I'm seeing that, they're being paid less for doing more, paid less than their male peers. And somehow people seem to think it's okay and acceptable. They're being given extra jobs to do, which really should be full-time jobs, full-time paid jobs, and not being paid any more money for it, or even only a little bit more money. There are so many things like this that are happening that need to end. But it's going to need us as women to come together to be able to support each other, and actually to recognize, hey, we hold up half the sky. We are half of this world. And it is just not acceptable for us to pitch against each other when we have bigger fish to fry. And some of that is due to the insecurities that are, honest to God, not surprising in the way that we are often treated. And it means that we have to become more aware of what's going on, what's happening, how we are being impacted, because without awareness, we can't make change. You know, you need to be reachable to be teachable. You need to be teachable to be reachable. So collaboration is a really important thing. And I'm going to be honest, if you are one of those women who gets off on blocking other women, I want you to know that you are not down with the cause. You are actually part of the problem and not part of the solution. We have issues such as, you know, women's rights as to what to do with their own bodies being taken away from them. I always find this very interesting because people seem to forget that there's a baby involved, and that baby potentially may be a full-grown adult or somebody that needs taken care of. Nobody's thinking about what happens after the baby is born. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying whether I'm for or against. I'm just saying women have rights, and it's time we stop taking those rights away from them, whether that's around their bodies, whether that's what happens in the workplace, wherever they may be. We have rights, and we are human beings on this planet just like everyone else. So it's important that we advocate for each other and support each other and lift each other up. On top of that, please, it is time to put yourself at the top of your own list. And what I mean by this is we keep putting ourselves at the bottom. We're last on our list. We'll get to us when we've done everything else, when we've sorted out everything at work, when we've sorted out our partners, when we've sorted out our children, our wider family, our friends. It's time to stop. And the reason why it's time to stop is you cannot continue to give from an empty cup. And in fact, that giving is giving with stress, with resentment, with frustration, and it's giving us health issues as well. So I'm going to encourage you and empower you, please put yourself at the top of your to-do list. That means taking time out for you to do the things that fill you up. I don't care what it is. If that's just reading a book, if that is without distractions, if that is going to the spa, if that's just going out and having a scream, I don't really care. Whatever works for you that fills you back up, do the things that fill you up that don't necessarily include other people, unless maybe you're deciding to go out with your girlfriends and do something that really does fill you up. And I say this because this whole thing that we continue to do of putting ourselves at the bottom of the list means that we never get to us. We all know our to-do lists are very long, and we get through the first few things and then things get moved over to the next day. If you're at the bottom of the list, you too are being moved over to the next day. So I'm going to tell you, please put yourself at the top. You will thank me for it because you'll feel so much better about who you are, how you are, and what's going on for you. You'll be able to make better decisions. You'll be able to advocate for yourself. And talking about advocating for yourself, it also means not accepting less. Like, if you don't feel you've got options, then you've handed your power over to somebody else and they've got all the options for you. That is not the way to live your life. The way to live in the best possible way is to be able to advocate for yourself, to be your own best ally, and to be able to use your no. Like, no, it's not acceptable for you to pay me less. No, it's not acceptable to keep passing me over for that promotion. No, it's not acceptable to think I'm going to take all the minutes in a meeting. That is not my job. And the sooner we learn to advocate for ourselves, the better. That we ask. You know, if you want to achieve anything, you need to get good at asking good questions, those open questions that really make people think and provide you with information. Let's stop accepting less than just because somebody said it. Let's actually start pushing back. A lot of our confidence is eroded, definitely from environments that are not necessarily great for us. But not only is that the case, it's us accepting that over and over again for fear of being called aggressive, for fear of being too pushy, for fear of being too much, for fear of being told we're up ourselves, for fear of whatever. And actually, the sooner we get more comfortable with who we are, we will become less accepting of some of those things that get pushed on us that are not true. You are not a tree. You are not stuck and you don't have to stay anywhere. And yes, I understand that we've got bills to pay and things to do. But if we see ourselves as stuck, that's how we experience ourselves as stuck. And everything else that we do means that we live a very stuck life. That's not what we need to do. We've got enough things around us and people around us who will try and keep us stuck. Some of that is our family members, some of that are our work colleagues. We have to choose what's right for us in our life. So I'm encouraging you today, put yourself at the top of the list. Advocate for yourself and advocate for other women too. Work together. And let's also call out the bull crap when we hear it. Let us no longer sit and not say anything when those comments are being made, whether it's about us or another woman. Let us say no more, because unless we start working together, nothing's going to change. And what the stats say, women in work, women in leadership make a magnificent difference to the bottom line and the environment of the organization. So let's go and make a difference. Let's do what we can do, because the things we go through are unbelievable. The resilience that we have is phenomenal. So I'm just going to let you know, lean into that. The voices in your head are just that, voices. The voices that say you can't or what would they say. Sometimes you just need to tell them to shut up. And what you need to then do is get on and do what is right for you in your model of the world. Don't let anybody tell you who you are or how you need to live. Explore who you are. Explore how you want to live, and then advocate for yourself at every possible moment. And if you want to know how to do that, if you need some support, then come and join me at the Compass Club. If you're a woman in leadership or a woman who should have been in leadership, been passed over by the boss because you're making them look good on a daily basis, come and join me. And I will say, some of you, will say, oh, but Madeline, it's this much, it's that much. We paid for the handbags, we pay for the hair, we pay for the shoes, we pay for the makeup, we pay for the jewelry, we pay for the clothes. Let's invest in ourselves. You are your best investment. Put yourself on the top of the list. Come and join me at the Compass Club, and in your everyday life, whether you do or you do not, what I ask you to do is to put you first so that you can help open doors for other women, where we stop accepting less and start expecting, asking for, advocating for, and demanding more. Have an amazing day. Speak to you soon.